not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
He's ranting like someone's drunk grandpa. That's what he's doing. And the stuff about the media, I'm so ready to be done with him. I know we have to talk about Putin and Trump, but I am so ready to never watch video of him again. Get me some seashells stat. But anyway, the development there, the substantive thing, aside from the fake news, is that Trump is appalled and surprised that Vladimir Putin launched a massive bombardment of Ukrainian cities and civilians over the weekend. And he's surprised by this because Putin has never done that before. He's known Putin for a long time, and Putin has never targeted civilians. That has now changed, and so it makes sense that Donald Trump's approach to Putin would change. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. When did Grandpa wake up? Was he sleeping the last half century of who Vladimir Putin is, how he treats the world, how much he cares about civilian lives? So look, this seems not really about the changing situation in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has been committing war crimes since the very beginning. It was an illegal invasion. This seems a little bit more personal. See, Donald Trump had a 2-hour phone call with Putin, and he gets off of it, and he said it was very productive. And the same way that Putin responded like a month and a half ago when Trump said, we're gonna do this diplomacy thing, I'm gonna meet with them, it's gonna be awesome, and then Putin lashed out and killed a bunch of civilians. Putin seems to delight in rubbing Trump's face in his own incompetence, his own inadequacy to deal with this situation. And so Trump says, we're making progress. And Vlad's like, no, I can kill as many people as I want and I will. And so he killed a bunch of civilians. And so Trump is now lashing out. I don't know what it means, what he's going to do, but it wasn't just in that interview. We went to Truth Social, and he's talking about missiles and drones being shot into capital C cities in Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. But again, he's been doing, that's what this war is, bozo. Please wake up. A lot of people have died. Now, he does try to distance himself from the conflict because Trump will never take responsibility. The buck stops anywhere else. He says, this is a capital W war that would have never started if I were president. This is Zelensky's, Putin's, and Biden's war, not, in quotation marks, Trump's. I am only helping to put out the big and ugly fire. Dude, you're literally responding to the fact that you could not get anything done. And there's actually massive fires in Ukrainian cities right now. And also, like, I know that you continually say that no, nothing bad would ever happen if you were president. Well, that's happening right now. You're president and he's doing this. Your thesis that he would have not invaded if you were president seems weaker in the face that he's killing civilians, spitting in your eyes, and you are incapable of doing anything about it. Now, it's a difficult situation, obviously, but he's the one that pretends that he alone can fix it, Yaz. And instead, things seem only worse than they were before he was sworn in. What do you think?
Yeah, and Trump talks a big game whenever he is not the one in power. But then when he gets into power, whenever he bullies his way up there, then, things are not always what they seem once you're in power, are they, Donald Trump? So the idea that Trump is surprised that Putin is killing people is cause for concern. The fact that he's surprised by it is cause for, the fact that he thinks Putin suddenly has something wrong with him, like what? Look, whether or not his surprise is genuine and real, it is a problem. Either this man he's like so arrogant that he really thinks that Putin cares literally at all about how Trump feels about him and his actions when Putin obviously does not. Putin has humiliated Trump publicly many, many times before. He has publicly said, Trump said this, I'm gonna do this instead because I can and because I want to. Or Trump he's just such a bad judge of character that he shouldn't be trusted to run even a small business, let alone an entire country where people literally their lives depend on his judgment of people's characters and the judgment of people who he does business with, right? And who he's governing with and who he chooses to ally himself with. This is not tenable. The fact that he is so surprised by something that literally nobody else is surprised by is very, very troubling. And something that I think the American people maybe don't consciously acknowledge. I know they understand this, but it's different to understand something, but then to really embody what it means is two different things. And one of those things is that the United States and Russia function very, very similarly on the world stage, right? I'm not saying that we're actively committing genocide right now. Arguably, we're not actively committing genocide right now, but we're not as obviously evil, I think, or dismissive of our own people to where we're not like sending thousands of Americans to die in Ukraine right now. But functionally, as far as geopolitics is concerned, we do function very, very similarly to Russia. And that's why we've often been at odds with Russia. A lot of what's going on in the Middle East right now is a proxy war between the United States and Russia. And so the fact that Trump has tried to cozy up with Putin, maybe things could have been different if he was more successful at it. But this is the man who says that he's, the best negotiator around. He's the deal maker, but he can't even see somebody like Vladimir Putin for who he really is and for what he really is on the world stage, what he represents, what his government represents, what his country has become. And, the optics of it are not very good. And Trump, this whole interview that he did, this rambly interview where he's saying he's so surprised by Putin and this isn't the Putin that I know, where have you been? Even if it is propaganda, even if you are trying to make it seem like this guy is not who he is, it hasn't been working. And this is a weird interview because it doesn't even fit that narrative.
Yeah, the entire thing, first I would say at the very least facilitating genocide, helping to fund, helping to arm and all that, standing by and watching it, pretending that's not what's happening. But anyway, setting that aside, the issue also is that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are both reminders of why unchecked power being vested in an executive with nobody who can stop them from their worst excess is willing to just grind up their own population, either economically in our case with the tariffs, physically with the war. Like it's a reminder that that's not how any government should run. And when you give the worst people in the world unchecked power, you can't really be surprised when absolutely terrible things happen. I don't know if Donald Trump, I don't know if this is a strategy or the issue with him and Putin is he really does seem to have this weird emotional blind spot, this weird man crush where he does not realize how he's being manipulated by Vladimir Putin. It's pathetic. We deserve so much better. Certainly the people of Ukraine deserve so much better.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?